Hello and welcome to BCM 241 Media Ethnographies. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about your digital artifacts and the research report that is due in week 13. Okay, so in this research project, you are using autoethnographic research to investigate the audience experience of a media niche. The DA should involve developing expertise in that media niche and creating content with an online persona that contributes to that niche in some way. Your final DA might be a research report video or some kind of continuous account of your research so that you could continuously contribute to that media niche. Or you might be directly producing content for that media niche. I've explained all this previously in the video on autoethnography and your digital artifact, and you should check that video out if you're still unsure about how to do this process. Please also speak to me on Discord if you're unsure, and speak to your tutor. So, your DA content must be informed by your autoethnographic research in some way that you can demonstrate via weekly blogs, via podcast, audio casts, engagement on other social media platforms. Right? The two elements of autoethnographic research and your DA should be paired closely in some way. The research that you should be doing, the autoethnographic research at least, should include some of the methods detailed in the subject lectures and readings, including taking field notes, right? That is engaging in observational research and participant observation and making notes. So your field journal could simply be, a dot point summary on your blog of the things that you observed that week. Or start to unpack an analysis of the content that you are examining autoethnographically, or the experience of being an audience member in that niche. Further network mapping, right? Lots of maps where you are drawing connections that you're observing between different platforms, different content creators, different audience engagement vectors. So you're drawing up a series of maps and pictures of how this media niche operates. And as we discussed in the week in digital ethnography, sense-based ethnography is a really engaging way to help audiences come to an understanding of your personal experience in a media niche. Please remember, due to ethical restrictions, you're not permitted to interview or include the expressions from others in this project. So if you're taking screenshots, make sure that you are keeping other people's content out of your work, unless they are a public figure. Public figure and people who are producing content for your media niche are creating publicly available material that you can include in your research report. Remember, the analysis and interpretation should be based on your own experience in various audience situations. So again, this is one of the most important elements of the project, of your digital artifact, that your autoethnography must inform the content of your digital artifact in some way. You might be doing reviews, you might be just simply analyzing the media niche and presenting that via some kind of digital artifact, blog posts, mixture of audio and video, and so on. That's perfectly fine. In that case, your persona is of a participant observer. Or you might be creating TikTok videos and Instagram content and so on. And so you need to be able to explain how your autoethnography helps you develop that content and innovate on that content. The level of content in your DA reflects your engagement in the subject. So if you're aiming for a D or an HD in the subject, then the DA will reflect a high degree of media content production across multiple media types and platforms on a weekly basis. right? It's not sufficient just to have an Instagram account, right? You have to be producing content for your DA on Facebook, on TikTok. You must be showcasing that on your blog in a weekly way, right? You have to be demonstrating a high level of engagement in the subject if you are looking for those higher grades. So the research report is a final blog post that is due in week 13. In this post, you're going to summarize your DA activity. Again, dot points, tables, images of production, images that help summarize your DA activity will be great. But here is also where you will be demonstrating your final analysis of your autoethnography. You'll be working on this analysis in your blog posts. And so you can link to those blog posts, or you can draw elements of those blog posts into this final report. You'll also be producing an audio-video summary of your research. And this will be on top of whatever you're doing for your DA. And in this video, you can include all the background research, right? All the other academic studies into your media niche, all the other material, and help convey how analysis of that material, or rather how that material helped your analysis. So your final research report is a mixed audio, video, text piece for up to a 2,000 words equivalent. So you should be able to fit everything you need within the 1,000 words in 5 minutes that meets the assessment criteria, and we'll talk about that in a sec. Key points to think about: how your research, both your ethnographic, autoethnographic research, and your further background research and scholarly research helped inform your content creation. How did your autoethnography help develop innovative material for your DA? How did it help you to experiment? What was the online persona that you created? Was it a scholarly persona where you're presenting research? Was it a participant persona where you're part of an audience? Or was it a content creator persona? And how did that performance and the presentation of that persona occur as part of your research and your DA content? The research report must include these things. So you want an overview of your media niche using relevant background sources. Now this is just your introduction, right? So you should be linking to your first couple of blog posts and linking to background resources. So this really doesn't need to be more than a paragraph, 2 or 3 sentences. You want to include a summary of the relevant academic research that has assisted in your investigation of the media niche. Now, Harvard referencing is not mandatory, but in this instance, you probably want to consider that to be quite effective in communicating your research that you engaged in. Links, of course, are fine, but you want to really convey the background work that you've done to help understand your media niche. You want a brief account of how autoethnography has helped you to critically reflect on your experience as an audience member in the media niche and how it's helped you to produce content for your DA. Again, you'll be working on blog posts on this, so you can link to those or include short snippets for that. So you've got material there that you'll be able to build on. And again, a really brief account of that online presence and that public persona that you created to develop an expertise in your media niche. Again, just a paragraph reflecting on the kind of public presentation of the self that you've engaged in as part of this research. And finally, a detailed account of how the autoethnographic process helped you create original content for your DA. That's one of the most important elements to convey in the final research report. Things to remember, include links to elements of your digital artifact. So in your research report, you obviously want to link and embed elements of your DA across various platforms, online locations, and digital services. And you can do that as part of your summary for your online persona. And you can always reuse content from previous blog posts. You can link to them, But you can, if you've got a really key observation or a bit of analysis, particularly from the later blog posts, you can put that into your research report. And as I said, Harvard-style referencing is encouraged, but not mandatory. Links are essential. So I've explained the breakdown of the assessment criteria in the pitch video. So I'm just going to go super quickly through this and just remind you of what exactly you will be marked against. First is the degree of conformity with the learning assessment task instructions, including the further instructions provided in the subject lectures, the tutorials, and Moodle. So this is really an indication of your engagement in the subject, paying attention to the lectures, paying attention to discussions in tutorials, and integrating that into your work. The quality, consistency, of professionalism of the DA in the research report, including basic spelling, punctuation, grammar. The number of blog posts I still see without the letter I capitalized, indicates a lack of polish. So please make sure that. And I did explain all of these terms in that pitch video. So if you're unsure, go back to that one. Demonstration of a high degree of digital literacies in the production of a digital artifact. So again, this is evidence of work across multiple platforms using things like hashtags, descriptions. If you have a YouTube video, make sure it has a basic description in the description section. The structure and organization of the presented materials. Think about your video in your research report as having a clear introduction. Think of it as a 3-act structure, beginning, middle, and end, having a clear conclusion. And then in your blog post, the effective use of supporting materials. So you're not just dropping, references in for the sake of it to try and increase the word count or suggest that you've done extra research, but actively and effectively using those materials and supporting media in, communicating your engagement, your analysis, and your research overall. Evidence of engagement with the subject lectures and resources. Right, this is a kind of participation grade where you're communicating that you are actively engaging in the content, in the subject, and that is built into your process and product. Finally, of course, the evidence of further supporting research, drawing on subject relevant concepts. We did a quick breakdown in a couple of weeks on all the skills involved in autoethnography. You can reflect on the skills that you developed as part of this research project, as well as bringing in other concepts from other subjects, popular news and media, and academic sources. So there you have it. If you are unclear about any of the elements or any of the material in this video, please contact me via Discord and let's have a chat, and maybe I can provide you some feedback and some comments on some early blog posts and thinking about your DA. Awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.